This looks ominous. Like, hello, we are in this underground bunker.
There's like an Instagram filter on us with this lighting.
I was afraid of it. Yep. Okay, so we're in Doug's car right now. And like,
That son
we're
of a bitch.
using his slanty dashboard with the super slippery, like, the super slippery folder that we got, right? It looks like we just parked the car in the con.
Yes, it does. Yeah, sure. With the lights, totally.
Yeah. And like, you might hear, like, I've never run into this problem before, like, where it would be raining in the car. This one, it's like you might hear the sounds of airplanes taking off.
Yeah, right next to O'Hare, totally.
We were talking about this beforehand, where it's like, for this movie, we went to go see Overcomer from the creators of War Room, the Kendrick brothers. Did you see War Room?
No.
Okay. You saw, like, I'll mention this later, but as far as this, like, compares to their other movies, the Kendrick brothers, there it goes. We actually flew in Alex Kendrick to do this review with us.
It's gonna be in the car.
So we were mentioning, like, because we saw this movie separately. You saw it before I did.
Yeah.
You saw it yesterday morning. We went to go see it yesterday night, and we were like, I think we're gonna have more fun just talking about our experiences and going to see this movie.
Yes. We had very different experiences.
Wildly different.
Yeah.
We're at Wizard World Chicago this weekend, so we're doing this right after we're already tired, and we're like, it's only Friday.
Yeah, that's why I have black eyebrows.
Yeah.
Don't judge me.
That's why I look exactly the same as I always do in these.
Don't judge him.
I was looking at the focus. I'm like, I can't tell if it's because we're in a parking garage or if you know what, if it makes my face blurry, it's all good. It's fine. That's my cosplay.
Blurry man.
So, it was I got the text from you yesterday, the message you sent me when this is the movie that, I'll get into the plot in a second, but like, this is, the text I got from you was like, I'm here in the morning, I am the only person in this theater, let's do this, Overcomer. And it was a shot you sent me just alone in the theater. And you said a couple people showed up, right?
Like 10 minutes into the film, two ladies showed up and sat behind me. Mm-hmm. And they bawled throughout.
Yeah.
Like, actively cried throughout the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
And I couldn't help but just a couple times I had to make, like, exasperated noises at the film. And I think that they were hardcore judging me.
Yeah.
I think they were a little upset because they were really getting a lot out of it, and I wasn't.
I'm glad they were at your screening and not ours. They would not have had a good time at our screening.
They'd have been so mad at you.
We went to go see it last night, because you weren't at the con. Were you at the con yesterday?
Not yesterday.
Okay, you weren't at the con yesterday, but a few of us were. So it was, so for the after the I went to the 9:40 p.m. show. The con ended at 9. So we, or a little earlier than that, but like, so we went out to go grab just a quick bite beforehand, and then it took a while to get to cash out at the restaurant we were at. So afterwards, we had to like haul ass, like 20 minutes, however far away the movie theater was. So we were hauling ass to make it to Overcomer of all movies. There's a theater across the street from the bar restaurant we were at.
Yeah.
We stopped in there at first, and we looked like idiots because we go in there, we're like, where's Overcomer's not here, leave. And a whole group of us. So, because it was after the con and we went to this bar, most of us had a couple of cocktails at that point.
Yes.
We're in the theater at Overcomer. It's me, Doug, Barney, and Farad, the four of us. The four of us sitting in there just with giant popcorn like, let's do this. And the movie plays out like this cheeseball melodrama.
Yeah.
And the rest of the audience was there. It wasn't packed at our theater either.
Okay.
But the people who were there for like the same reasons we were. Where, like, they were laughing at the parts that you're not supposed to be laughing at. One person hissed when the grandmother in the movie is like, I ain't letting you see my daughter, you stay away from her. Someone in the back is just... We had a blast.
I don't think I've ever hissed at a film. I love that. I love that visceral reaction.
Yeah.
I just gotta hiss at this bitch grandma.
What did you kind of grow up on movies like this?
Yes, yeah. Stuff like this was the that's why I didn't see a lot of movies. I was watching stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I haven't since like maybe junior high school seen anything like this, and it brought me right back to.
How does it compare to a lot of those? Like
similarly.
Bigger budgeted?
Yeah, bigger budgeted. Yeah. I think this isn't as bad as I've seen for sure. Definitely seen worse.
It is
this.
not. Yeah. In the modern wave, pure flicks way. I mean, this movie's not pure flicks, but it's in that's era of that kind of movie. Yeah. It's definitely not one of the worst. I mean, but that's not saying much.
Sure.
Like, so this, I grew up watching a lot of those too, more so because of school.
Yeah.
Less my family. So I grew up with a lot of the ones from like the 80s and early 90s where it was like Colby the Christian Computer and Salty the Singing Songbook. I showed you those pictures. You were like, this is bringing back memories. Like Heather said the same thing too.
I saw those. Yeah, absolutely. Bible Man, VeggieTales, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Bible Man is a trip, man.
Mm-hmm. So the ones that in that era, they were more like shorts that we kind of grew up with and less like the movies. So this is like all of the really overacted, cheesy, over-the-top melodrama you'd see in a lot of those, but in a slightly bigger budget.
In a 2 hour, it's like an hour 46 or something.
Which is short for Kendrick Brothers.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw the runtime. I was sitting in the theater waiting for it to start, and I was like, oh my god, it should be an hour 20 max.
So we were running late. We made it right before the movie started.
Nice.
With our slightly tipsy asses walking into this movie. Like, right before we got in like the last trailer.
That's amazing.
And this movie, I'll say this about it. Of the Kendrick Brothers movies, they did War Room and Fireproof and Courageous and a couple of others. They did do Fireproof.
I didn't see that, but I at least know the context of that movie.
Yeah, like that and War Room, I'd say were their previous big ones. Like this is their best movie.
Oh, okay.
What? So you're like, do I want to see the other ones? So Rob didn't go, and when I got back, because I'm crashing at Rob's during the convention, so when I got back and he's asking me about it, to describe this movie is different than seeing it.
It's hard to describe.
Yeah. Now, War Room, you can describe that. You can be like, dude, I just sat through this like Medea wannabe movie where a woman's husband's cheating on her, so she prays in a closet and gives them food poisoning. And that fixes their... You can describe that.
Yeah.
This, to describe the plot...
It's a lot.
It is a lot. Okay, halfway through this movie, I leaned over to Farad and went, what's this movie about? Halfway through it, because there's a lot of shit going on in this movie.
Yeah.
If you were to just kind of sum it up, like, it's inspirational high school cross-country movie. Okay, so it's this girl who has asthma, high school student, and she is the only one on the cross-country team. Then she finds out her father is not only still alive, but is dying in the hospital, doesn't have long to live, and so she's trying to connect with him.
Of diabetes.
Yeah.
Diabetes has you.
And he's blind. He's blind, dying of diabetes, and he then is, like, helping her with her asthma and running and cross country and all this. Okay, now imagine all that, but it's all from the point of view of her schlubby ass coach.
Yes.
Who is the main character and played by Alex Kendrick.
Yes, and who is somehow rich, even though he's a school teacher at a Christian school, which does not pay well, and is all the while throwing a massive fit about not being able to be a basketball coach anymore. Also, the daughter, some reason, she steals things. Also, there's just a lot of weird things that they were like, this will add to the tear factor at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I'm glad you mentioned the stealing things, because the text that you wrote to me, I sent you a picture of me and Farad when we sat down and we're about to do this. Click, we made it. After we made it just in time, you sent me a message and the movie started. I looked down and your message goes, "Enjoy. There's not many movies about someone stealing an iPod mini in 2019. I looked at it and was just, how is that going to factor into the story that they presented me right here?
They just threw it in. I love so she steals this iPod mini and the grandma's like, "Where did you get this?" And I just wanted her to answer, 2006, Grandma.
Yeah.
Because no one uses iPod minis anymore.
Oh yeah, there's like a minor plot where she's like kind of a klepto that plays into nothing.
No, just for her like redemption arc, she returns things.
There's nothing wrong with like, you're okay, like Alex Kendrick has directed this movie, co-written it. Every other name on the credits is Kendrick, so his family has a lot to do with this. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I've acted in and co-written and directed some movies myself. In this particular case, this is more the case where it's like, this guy really wants to be an actor. Yeah. And you could kind of tell that with some of his other movies. He's in a couple of scenes in War Room, which was kind of Doug's character in Jesus Bro, whose name in that movie was Kendrick.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I just leaned over and been like, Doug, that's you on screen, man.
I didn't know that. That's great.
So he has, in War Room, he's in it a couple scenes, but is prominent on the poster. Yeah. Where he's not even dressed like his character, he's dressed as himself on the poster.
It's really odd, yeah.
In this, he's the main character, and he shouldn't be the main character of this movie, other than it looked like he really just wanted to act in and star in this movie, despite he shouldn't have been the focal point of this story.
It just kind of felt like another, like, what's that one movie, The Blind Side, where everyone was mad at Sandra Bullock's character because she's like this white, like, savior. And it just kind of is like, a little bit like that. It's just kind of like, you shouldn't probably be the main character. Just like that character itself, not even him. Like, that character should have been the main character. It should have been the girl who was the main character, I think.
It's clunkier in this, because a lot of times when I see something like that before, it's like, well, okay, at least, like, they have a decent enough screenwriter here where they're trying, like, and like the acting's solid. Yeah. You know, they're trying to make it work. In this, it was distracting because you have a scene with Alex Kendrick when he first gets to the hospital to see somebody else, accidentally stumbles in this old blind dying man's room, who's, I guess this guy's in his 50s, I don't know, the guy dying. Yeah. And then just proceeds to bitch at this guy about how he's like, man, I'm just really sad. Like, I can't coach basketball. They're making me coach this cross-country shit. I don't want to do that. My life sucks. As he's saying to this dying blind man.
Throwing like, that's the only way I can describe it. He's just throwing a fit. In, like, you're 6 years old right now. Like, the worst way.
That was, when it got to that, that's when I was like, this is the people who made War Room. This isn't as crazy as War Room, but I'm like, I can tell this is the War Room writers, where they have gone into this dying man's room, and he keeps going.
Yeah, like, it's not like, I'm sorry, but I know you're going through something else. It's like, he just continues, and like, later on, him and his wife get in this fight, and he throws a brick, and it's just like...
Oh, I forgot about that!
Right? It's like the equivalent of him, like, stomping his foot as a 6-year-old on his bedroom floor. It's so
That made the audience laugh. That totally made the audience laugh. They were like, and like, no one really, maybe one person cried in ours. I didn't hear it, but Doug said he thought he did. Our theater was more like, towards the end, when sad stuff's happening, our audience was just going, that dude's dying. So the guy is like, it'd be like if you wanted to save money on a therapist, so you just go into the hospital and just start talking to a dying man about your non-problems. Yes. It was so stupid. And then they're talking to the girl who is being raised by her grandmother, and then the old man in the hospital is saying, like, I had a daughter once, she's 15, and you see where this is going. It turns out that the runner is the daughter of the dying man who he's been saying all of his problems to, which the dying man's totally fine with, because 80% of his dialogue is blind puns. Yep. Is him like maybe like I'm assuming your outfit matches, but I can't see.
Yep. I could see that coming a mile away.
Oops, I can't!
Do you get it?
So Doug and Farad started making up their own during the movie. So there's one part where you think the guy is dead when the daughter goes in, but he's not. They just moved him to the ICU. So the nurse goes like, we moved him to the ICU. And like Doug leans over to me and is just like, more like the I can't see you, am I right? Because I'm blind.
I hate that I love that so much.
When the movie ended, because we all had a great time with this cheesy-ass melodrama.
Oh, totally. I did have a good time.
I'm glad you said that, because, like, when it ended, I just kind of went forward like this and just went, oh, and Tamara had to watch this by herself. That sucks.
It was just so, like, it brought me back in a way that I can now laugh at, where that used to, like, those kind of movies, like, used to be, like, my entertainment, and now it's like a fun thing to watch back and be like, y'all are cheesy as hell.
This movie is cheese and a half. It does things better than like War Room or Fireproof, where it's like overall it's just kind of like, all right, it's not that like there's a bad message in here or anything. I mean, there's questionable decisions people make, like the thing with the daughter and the grandmother, and so the coach and his wife totally like go over like they find out that like the girl's dad is still alive because the grandmother said that he died because he was a meth head and things like that. So they're like, we got to do what we got to do. We got to tell this girl that her dad is still alive. And we're sitting there just going, or don't. Maybe talk to the grandmother first.
Talk to the grandma. Like,
or something.
The grandma raised this girl after her own daughter died from this, like, meth head, like, husband. And, like, I understand why she doesn't want her granddaughter to see him. And, like, I like the redemption arc there. But, like...
yeah, same.
But come on, you should talk to her.
Yeah, like that. We were sitting there going like, wow, like overstepping bounds much. And at the same time, it's like, if that's your biggest issue with a Kendrick Brothers movie,
you're in
then
a good
okay.
place. Well, at one point he's like, God, please tell me we've done the right thing.
Farad's sitting next to me going, you didn't.
That's a big swing and a miss, my man.
And like, but at the same time though, the dying man, who's like the same age as the grandmother, so that was really throwing me off.
Yeah.
The dying man is like really the only good actor in this movie.
Totally. I at least I enjoyed his performance.
Yeah.
And he sold some of those jokes. Like, they gave him shit jokes. And he did the best he could with them, I would say.
Yeah.
I do think, though, this reminded me a lot of, I didn't see the movie, but I saw the trailer that gave the entire plot away. Was that one with Jennifer Gardner, you know?
Oh, Miracles from Heaven. This movie gave away the whole movie, too, in the trailer.
Okay. I was thinking that because, like, they don't, like, kind of toy with, like, is that his daughter or isn't his daughter? Like, it's not a mystery at all. He's like, yeah, my daughter who was born on February 14th and she's 15 and she lives with her grandma. Know anyone like that? It's just kind of like, oh.
Well, do I?
God.
Absolutely I do. Hang on, I'll be right back. And then they're like, someone's here to see you. And then, oh, okay, so they tell the girl, they're like, oh, by the way, your dad's like still alive. He's in the hospital and like he doesn't have long to live. And then they go right back to coaching. Yeah. Where they're like, all right, so you're not quite as fast on this round here, but maybe pick it up next time. Doug's next to me going like, or tell me more about my dad who's still alive.
Who I've never fucking met.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so at the end, I cry at everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything. So I kind of cried at the end.
In the race.
The race, because so she's running cross country. She has asthma.
Yeah.
Again, just another plot point that this thrown in. And they record his voice for her to like listen to during the race, and they map out where she's going to be, which is impossible to do because she had never run that fast before, but she somehow was at the places they thought she was going to be. Doesn't make sense. But it's a nice thing because like everyone's questioning how he's going to help her now as this dying man. And he's like, I just want to help her out. And then he did. It was cute.
You know what it kind of was? It was sort of like the inspirational sports version of the finale of the Book of Henry. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
So, okay.
How?
Like, Book of Henry is the kid, but real quick, the kid finds out that his neighbor is like molesting his daughter, so he hatches this plan to like kill the guy, but then the kid dies. and leaves his mother, Naomi Watts, instructions on how to assassinate the neighbor. So he's recording all of these instructions on a recorder and feeding it into the ear, going like, okay, Mom, you want to go down to this safety deposit box and like, okay, here's how you load up this sniper rifle. Just breathe, Mom. I know you can do it.
That sounds awesome.
It's bad, but it's kind of awesome.
Damn it.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I absolutely recommend this movie, but like, I mean, it has
awesome.
issues,
Sure.
but like, it's wildly entertaining. It's like, so it's like that, where like she's feeding really overly specific things into her running. They do that in Book of Henry too, only in that case the kid's dead and he's listening to pre-recorded things, and like, she accidentally goes right at one point, but the thing in the ear goes, no, Mom, you want to go left. Like, specific.
Yeah,
like,
right. Because like, she had never run even close to that fast before, and somehow they knew exactly where she was going to be. It's like, all right, not realistic.
They kind of had it mapped out. Like, I was trying to figure out the mechanics of it, like, because they had it mapped out. And they have to like rush like an oxygen mask on her and everything.
And also, that's another thing that bothered me. So the grandma had never seen one of her races, and she stayed for this one. And it was like this big reveal at the end was like, you didn't go to work, you stayed. And she's like, I'm late for work, but of course I stayed. But she was like, she only came after they had got her like all well. So she had passed out. They put oxygen on her, and the grandma, you just imagine she's standing there in the corner behind the gate just being like, interesting. Like, why did the grandma come up when she passed out?
So it's just run. I didn't think about that until you just said it.
Where
like,
was grandma?
Running with an oxygen mask on her, like,
she's just in the corner, like.
You should be more concerned anyway that this girl with like crippling asthma is like your only cross-country player. The fact she's even there anyway is like, I don't know about this. Even the coach says like, should she really be running on this team? They're like, no, it's fine. She's got an inhaler on her. It's cool.
I just run with my inhaler. Yeah, that's not how asthma works. You don't just inhale once and like, oh, now I'm fine again. That's not how that works.
With the grandmother, I kept feeling like they originally wanted Karen Abercrombie, who was the old lady in War Room. Okay. I kept feeling like maybe they wanted her for this part. Maybe not as the same character, but same actress. Because the acting is pretty bad in this. The grandmother is kind of like sleepaway camp, crazy aunt style, not quite that like weirdly like happy necessarily, but like that same kind of really awkward delivery throughout. The high school girl's really wooden. And Doug and I were talking about this last night, where I was like, she was really wooden, man. Like, and during the movie, I leaned over to Farad at one point and was like, the acting of this sucks. Like, halfway through, like, I didn't give a shit at this point.
Yeah, totally.
So, the high school girl, like, one of them said something after the movie where they were like, I don't know, she did good in that scene where she did that monologue. And I go, yeah, because the director was probably like, this is a scene where literally you are trying out for a play and the person who's judging you has to be impressed. So it's like, yeah, the director was probably like, okay, in this scene, maybe you should emote.
I feel like because I saw that scene, I was like, oh, so she can act then. And it's like, I feel like the director, whatever his name is, this lead star, was like, you know, you have to be closed off. You got to be more closed off, and like just really suppressed her throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, they're like, your dad's still alive, and she's like, oh.
I want to see him. Like,
I really think I should see my dad.
But do you though?
I guess we can do this after the match. Like, it was like the kids from Dumbo.
Yeah, like, oh god, totally.
Really unnecessarily monotone throughout the whole thing. And like, that whole stuff with... Okay, this is another thing where it's like, yeah, I can tell this is a Kendrick Brothers movie, because there's like a lot of things that happen in his movies that don't factor into really much else going on in it. Like in War Room, with the plot of War Room ends 90 minutes in, and the remaining 30 minutes is about a jump rope competition.
Oh my god.
So in this...
I hate that.
That happens in that film, man. And in this, it's... that a couple of times in it, it has to do with like a play that people are auditioning for, and they get the coach to be a judge.
What was that?
Thank you. I was sitting there like, they're trying out for their play. big-lipped alligator moment, like, that has nothing to do with really anything else.
What are we doing here?
I kept wondering if it was supposed to be, like, a dated American Idol parody, like...
Okay, sure.
But didn't go far enough in that direction, really. So... I was just sitting there going, like, not surprised by it, because I've seen a few of their movies. I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. They're randomly doing this. Where just kids are auditioning for a play that the coach is sitting in on because the drama teacher asks him to.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's just so, there's so many aspects. It doesn't have, like, a clear focus at all. And also, I didn't laugh once at anything that was supposed to be funny. I did laugh at other things.
When it was stuff that was supposed to be funny, no. Everything else, hell yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like, but again, like I was saying, it's hard to describe. You just have to see. It has to do with the acting. It has to do with the lines. Yeah. The really over-the-top, like, power praying they're doing in here that's a lot like in War Room.
Yeah.
That gets a lot of unintentional laughs. The movie, it's, like I said, like, when you compare it to, like, their others, it's, it is, like, the better one that they've done, but it's still not good.
It wasn't that difficult to get through.
No, it wasn't. I mean,
so that was really cool.
Granted, we had a couple of drinks before it.
I did message my friend. She was like, what are you doing right now? You want to hang out? And I was like, no, I'm seeing a movie, but if you can get here in 3 minutes with a bottle of tequila, that'd be amazing.
Did she show up?
No. She couldn't sit through a whole 2 hours, but...
Were you at a theater that had a bar in it?
No. Cold, sober.
I'm glad you still had a good time, though.
I was expecting the worst. So I think in that aspect, it was fun.
I wasn't expecting Unplanned or,
Is that about a kid?
Kinda. That's the anti-abortion one. It's not that. It's not God's Not Dead 1 and 2. It's not even War Room, really, other than you can tell it's on a technical aspect. Yeah. Kevin McCreary, say goodnight, Kev. Like, he was tweeting me last night, and he goes... He said something like, he goes, well, I guess this is the point we're at. I mean, at least it's not the abortion one.
I mean, yeah, small victories.
Yeah, and I wasn't even trying to think terribly hard about the acting in this, because there are performances where it sticks out, like the grandmother who's not good.
Yeah.
When it came to Alex Kendrick, it was like, okay, he'd be fine on, like, a sitcom on
absolutely,
like a TBS or something.
Yeah, not Netflix, but like TBS.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like a throwback sitcom or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be fine as a guest spot on Last Man Standing.
Totally. Oh my god. You really, that was so specific, but so correct.
A lot, so I've seen War Room twice. So when I saw it in the theater, that was a situation where I was like, whoa, the acting sucks. And then I did it as a snob episode. When I was watching it on a smaller screen, it made not that it made the acting good, but it made it more appropriate.
It made it, yeah, for sure.
I was thinking about that a lot in this.
Okay.
Where there was some where I was like, smaller screen.
That would be fine. I think, too, with the budget, it first started off, and I just hadn't thought about the budget before watching it, and it was seemingly low, lower than most theatrical releases. And I was like, all right, well, that's kind of what I'm going to expect from every aspect of this then. Like, with the writing and the acting and everything. It's just kind of like, this is just kind of low budget. That's cool.
Have you seen a lot of the, like, more modern day ones? Like, have you seen God's Not Dead?
No, I haven't seen... I have stayed away.
Oh.
You brought me back in, Brad.
With this, I guess this is a good gateway one. You don't want to go the full Unplanned all the way.
Sure don't. Sure, because you were maybe in Chicago when you were talking about that or something.
Unplanned.
But you told me about it.
I might have just seen it. Yeah, that was... One like this, it's easier to ask someone to see it. Because I wrote to you, and you're like, hell yeah.
Absolutely.
With Unplanned, I couldn't get anybody in Springfield.
That's what you said. That's what you said, yeah.
No one would. It was hard enough to ask Laura to just be in the car when I was talking about it.
That's so real.
Yeah, there was. I couldn't get anyone to go see Unplanned there.
No.
I go see it by myself, and it's fucking packed. And I'm just sitting in the back like an asshole.
I can't believe it was packed.
Oh, I
Seeing
can
that
believe
movie, that would have bummed me out so
Unplanned.
hard.
That's what they were saying. So at Unplanned, I expected it to be in Springfield, Illinois, a movie like
That's
Unplanned.
true, sure.
I was like, I figured it'd be crowded. So I go in. The girl taking tickets, she knows what I do for a living. So she was like, good luck. When I was at concessions, there was the guy asked me, he goes, so what are you going to see? I'm like, Unplanned. And the girl standing next to him who also worked there, who didn't know what I do for a living, just kind of looked at me, and I went, it's my job. I'm just here for my job, man. And she's like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
The girl at tickets, she goes, I clench my fist every time someone buys a ticket for this.
Well, I felt the need to tell people. I didn't. And every single interaction I had at that theater, I was just like... There was someone outside of the theater, kind of my age, and I went to the bathroom and I didn't even have to because I didn't want him to see me walking into to this movie or whatever.
You get used to it. You get so used to it. Now I look forward to him so much, man. With this, it's a weird thing because it's with this, it's this is by all accounts a better movie than, of course, Unplanned or something like that. And in its message, it definitely is. Yeah. But at the same time, it's if you're looking for one of these, if you're comparing the two, and you're looking for one more genuinely and in a message sense, this one. But if it's laughs you're looking for, then it's watch Unplanned.
Sure.
Then it's sure. Get some drinks, but yeah, watch Unplanned.
Yeah, that was my mistake.
So this movie, it's just not very good. It's sitcom style jokes, bad sitcom style jokes, bad delivery, bad lines, really over melodramatic.
Yeah.
Awkward. But it's it's still their better movie, so it's this isn't going to be on my bottom worst.
No, sure, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just when the movie ends and the lead character, this coach, opens a drawer and there's 27 numbered cassette tapes.
Yeah.
He mails one off, and it's just every year the dad recorded his voice for his daughter's birthday, and then they play it as she's running off in the distance, and it's I just want to say I love you. And it's it's such a basic script and so dramatic.
Pureflix's 13 Reasons Why.
Oh my God, that's what it is.
Would you recommend this to your family, or?
I would recommend this to my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Who loves these kind of films.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, if you're the target audience for this, yeah, this is something I'd recommend more than, again, the Unplans of the world and things like that, or Voiceless and movies like that. Oh, God. Then sure.
It's harmless enough.
It is a harmless movie. It's totally harmless. But for a general audience, no. I don't recommend going to see this.
No.
Unless you're our happy ass is going in to see this for shits and giggles.
Just drunk off your ass.
Yeah.
Honestly, that could be fun.
Well, I don't regret going to see it last night. I don't. The four of us in there going to see this movie. No, I don't.
I love that.
Especially for this kind of movie, it looked optic wise, it looked like Barney dragged us to go see it. We're in town visiting Dad, and he wants to go see this movie.
Absolutely. That's amazing. I love that.
Any final thoughts about it? Is there anything we forgot about it? I don't think. Like, I'm surprised we got this much mileage out of it, to be perfectly honest. Did you take notes?
I wrote 2 things down. I wrote the iPod thing down.
Yeah.
Oh, I just wrote that he was throwing a fit.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. Nothing else.
I can't think of anything else. I might do a snob episode on it, because you can get a lot of jokes out of some of the delivery and some of the plot choices of the movie, and that I did one on War Room, but nah, it is what it is. Yeah. It's cheeseball TV melodrama. Don't get me wrong, ultra fucking cheesy, hardcore,
which
man.
Makes it fun in its own right.
Yeah, totally, because it does. The fact that it went so overboard on the really over sentimental, cheesy, like cry porn stuff made it more memorable than something like Miracles from Heaven, the Jennifer Garner one, or Heaven is for Real, those middle of the road ones. Yeah.
Which, I mean, I love that. I love that they just really went for it. Yeah. I love that it wasn't in your face about, like, controversial Christian things, you know what I mean?
It's not at all.
So it was, like, not difficult to get through, whereas that would have maybe made me uncomfortable. This was just kind of like, this is kind of cute.
It's like I said, that's one of the things you get used to with a lot of these, like, am I going to see Unplanned? Well, I guess it is Saturday. Like,
oh, God.
You just get used to it. But, like, Sarah in Springfield goes, I don't fucking want to get used to it. Oh, don't worry. It makes it much easier.
I can see
After I move up here, we gotta find some crazy-ass one to go see sometime if they release another one.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Oh, yeah, Tamara's never seen God's Not Dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, yeah.
No!
Thank you very much for going to see it and being in the video and everything, but, it's after the con on Friday, so speaking of drinks, we might go grab a couple cocktails. See you guys. Bye. Thanks for watching.